We were discussing that it's important to create connections and interactions in the system, and we said that it's important to do that. And I think Places to Grow is a project and a program that initiates some changes in this direction. And I want to invite to the stage Markus, Maxim, and Stanislav. You already met them today to tell us more about the program Places to Grow. So take your seat wherever you want to sit. Okay, come there, and I'm going here. So I have a different perspective. Markus, Porticus supported Places to Grow as a foundation. Could you tell us why Porticus decided to support the project, and what was your expectation as a foundation from the project?
No.
Thank you, Markus. Stanislav, you were also very important at the beginning. I think it's very important to be empathetic in listening and to respect the answers of people and your partners. So I'll come back to you, but Stano, like really, you were the manager of Porticus and you played an important role in initiating the project, especially the platform in Slovakia. So my question is if you could tell us more about the initial vision, which also makes sense to start with this question and come back to Markus.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, this is like part of my like very personal story. Actually, that I was actually so in 2019 there was an idea within Porticus that Porticus should have early childhood program in Europe somewhere. It wasn't yet decided, and back then, I worked for ISA, International Step-by-Step Association, and lived in the Netherlands. And I wanted somehow to be closer to home. And there was this opening with Porticus that not only they would like to have this program, but they would also like someone to manage that program. It's like, how about me? So I joined Porticus and actually started developing this program, started developing the idea, identifying the countries, think about the partners, who would they be, and so on. And yeah, and as the program was coming to an end, I left. No, but more importantly, also this is very dear to me also because. When the program started, my son was 3, now he's 8. So I actually also like see much of the things that I saw, many of the field visits and everything that I've conducted. I saw it also in the context of like his early years, because you know, we're talking about 0 to 8, just done. You know, now he's okay. He will you know. Doesn't need any more support anymore. The brain development is finished, right?
Yeah. It starts with 4.
So it was really like very nice and personal experience for me also, and I would like to also thank all the partners who were involved, and I could really see the fruits. Like this event. You know, like we're spending a full day for many of us, day and a half or more, talking about young children at an international conference in Prague. We didn't have it before, so yeah.
Markus, I hope we are ready.
Yes.
So Stan said that he applied for the job that Porticus advertised. So can you tell us more? What was Porticus' intention? Stano.
Well, you know how it is when you ask for volunteers, and then the last one to not take a step back is the one who took a step forward.
And maybe before you start answering, also if you have questions on these guys sitting here, the Slido is still on, so you can ask and use it. Maybe this is like really practical, so you can ask very concrete questions on how they run it and what they exactly did.
And thank you for respecting my no in the beginning. I think it's much better if Stano can also share this part of the story, because it's his story much more than it's mine. I think there was an interest in ECD already before, for all the good reasons that we have heard all morning from Porticus, but we had the idea back then that probably the whole can be more than the sum of its parts. So going from supporting individual initiatives where we understood that they are valuable for their communities to the question, can we play a role that can have more of a systematic change approach than what we had until then. And I think this was pretty much answered in the video. This was pretty much answered in the video, that how many things have happened in between the different stakeholders, the partners. I was really super proud just to see it, how this took off. Because when we started this, we really started also with this idea of how do we do this? It was really, we didn't have a master plan for this is how we do a program and this is why it's going to be successful for sure. But it really depended on all the people, Stano in the first place, but everybody else who came on board to make this a success. And I think it, as far as I can see it from now, it became successful. And definitely the program became more than the sums of its parts. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
Partially, and my question is also, as we were talking about creating connections and also catalyzing collaboration, you've been through it. So maybe what are the most valuable insights you would like to share with us? Also the challenges when you started to support the collaboration among such big actors. And we will talk about results later.
I think, again, the two dear friends to my right side can answer much more into detail about this. We already heard the factor of time, like people are very busy. But also the readiness to leave your circle, your bubble, your field of work for a moment. Like for those who are really engaged in their community, in their projects, this is the world, right? And it's good that it is like this because they really know what they're doing there. But to take this step out and reflect and share and come to this point where you realize what are commonalities, what is very specific about our situation, how can we benefit from the others, etc. I feel sometimes we had to force people a little bit out of this zone, but once we did, there was usually a positive feedback saying it was good that I was forced to step away from my work. I thought I cannot miss a single day being in the position I am, but it was actually good. It was very busy, but I still feel refreshed in my brain because I was busy with something else and probably busy much more with also dreaming, visionizing, imagining a positive future than I am in my day-to-day work, and that was kind of healthy. So that's something I took from this attempt to increase collaboration and bring people together.
Maxim and Stano, would you like to add something? No problem, Maxim, I will repeat it. When we are talking about supporting collaboration and creating connections among the actors, you were working with these actors for some time. So what were the challenges and maybe what you learned? What could be the recommendations for the others when we were talking in the last panel discussions about the necessity of creating connections?
I guess I can only share a lot of cliches, but I will do it anyway. So trust is extremely important. Like
maybe if you can be like very concrete, trust is important. Maybe what was your approach? I think this is very important to be really practical. How can we build trust, and maybe how did you do it? Because Stano said that they were looking for someone who is a great networker and community builder, and then find you.
Yeah, but the partners weren't looking for that person or organization, so they were like, "Who the fuck they are? Why are they here? Like, they're not even an ECD organization. What do they know?" So there was quite a huge level of distrust at the beginning. And I think what helped is basically just being honest. Like, yeah, we don't know shit about this topic. You tell us. You tell us what do you want to do. And our role is just to listen to you and summarize all your voices and making conclusions, and then feeding it back to you as a community, as a collective, and see, do you agree with this? And if yes, we are happy and we can move forward. If you are not, please add something and we will tweak your common vision, your common purpose, your goal, your direction. So this was our kind of role in this whole project.
Now, coming back to the previous conversation, it's super important because like people, panelists mentioned that it's important to have this role of a coordinator or facilitator that helps to create a shared vision. So I think it's really great step that you took a role, and also that the challenge is the trust that you build with listening, which we can build the architecture of cooperation by listening. So I think this is like very valuable insight. And Maxim, before we go to the question, tell us what are the future plans for Places to Grow?
So, yeah, there are different scenarios for us in the future. Officially, this program is ending by the end of the year, but we are continuing nevertheless. We launched a grant this year, beginning of this year, called Joint Action Fund that you heard about. So right now, we published the new call. It's extremely fresh, so you are the first one who know about it. So the application deadline is 20th of December, and we would like to support projects that are highly collaborative, highly innovative, and aiming on creating systemic change in these countries. So you can see this call on the website of Places to Grow. It's placesToGrow.eu, and I would encourage you to apply if you feel fit for the task.
Thank you. Do we have any Slido questions? Can we ask you to show Slido and see the questions from the audience? Yes, we have. First question, did you have a moment when you were ready to give up this mission, and if so, what helped you to keep your dedication to ECD? I think everyone should answer it because you could have your moment.
Well, I will start then, because it was very clear. Interestingly, it was at the very beginning. Like when this project started, it didn't start because we had COVID. So basically, the first, I would say, 1.5 year was like, okay, it's on, but wait. And my role was to keep the engagement and motivation of the partners for a program that we didn't know what's going to happen with. So that was very, very hard to, to have the conversation of, yeah, be enthusiastic. So what are we going to do? I don't know, but come on. So that was hard.
But you did a great job, Maxim, obviously. Look at the people that are sitting here. What about you?
No, I don't think I had a moment when I wanted to give up, and indeed, like, this was an interesting period with COVID, because we were thinking, should we start online, or should we wait a few months and start in person? And then it just kept repeating. Like, we kept having these conversations for a year, so that was really crazy. But then, like, we really did manage to meet. We built the community, and I think now the online meetings are possible, they work, but indeed, that was a great lesson, that people really need to become friends, go out for dinner together, get to know each other, and then the online world can work perfectly, but not the other way around.
Yeah, this question is a bit awkward to me because we did give up the mission.
Okay.
As many here in the room already know, that Porticus will not continue to support ECD here in the region. I think one of the lessons from all the programs we had is that change is complex, and we needed to focus, to focus on fewer geographies to be able to really stick with the programs, with the developments, with the dynamics that we could hopefully create or increase. So that's the sad side, and I probably already answered the second question.
You already answered. Maybe what will your focus be in future? You said that you will not support ECD in the region. What will your focus be?
There are several foci, is that the right plural, of Porticus work in Europe. When we speak about this region, I guess it's Central and Eastern Europe. If not, please, the person who asked the question, correct me. What you want to have defined the region. one thing we are definitely looking at and will be focusing on also in the future is the whole polarization we see in societies, what is happening in our democracies, in our democratic cultures, and this feeling that there's this atomization of society. We don't feel that we belong anymore, or we all belong to some tribes within society, but not to the others, which leads to polarization, political populism, etc., etc. And it's probably far from ECD, but I already had some good conversations here in the breaks, like how, if and how the link looks like between what happens in the early years and how people perceive society, are perceived by society, and how they see their role, their agency in society, etc. So let's see. I have a slight feeling that the topic of ECD is circling back to us through that channel, and I'm curious to learn more about this in the coming months.
It's also a challenge how to connect this topic. This could be connected. And the last question, very important, if you can describe the broad donor sphere for ECD, who are and will be the main supporters to achieve everything we've discussed today. So if you see any donors or actors, so what's the donor sphere here?
I can try to start answering, but this bunch of various ideas. So, like something that I think we need to look at is how much money comes to this region from the European Union funds, and they often do pure service delivery. They often focus on outputs. You know, they want you to present to them the attendance sheets, right? Like not the actual change, but like how many people really participated and all that, like all the outputs. So then I would say the role of private philanthropy is in the added value into this, not the service provision itself, but like building the knowledge, assessing whether this is really efficient and effective, and those things. So I think we as a community have to somehow also look into this, because I understand like we all would prefer to get all the money from private donors, ideally unrestricted, score funding, right? But then yes, then it is really challenging to scale up, right? Like we see so many great projects that have a start and an end because the added value hasn't been focused on, right? Like the service was delivered. When you read the reports, you will read success, 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 success. Now, what do you need next? Money to continue, right? So then it's a big question, like what was the success actually, right? So I think we also have to critically look into our own work, and maybe then I would circle back to what actually Markus said in the beginning. I think big contribution to the environment is also the donors who value the time that we spend together, maybe like this today, when it's not only about like how many services did you provide today, how many interventions, but really to have a chance to sit back, reflect on your work, talk for a day, and maybe without a specific deliverable, but have a honest, true exchange with other people who may be suffering from the same symptoms of not having enough money, not knowing their budget for next year, whatever, right? But let's push the donors to give us that time so that we can use this.
And coming back to the questions, do you see any donors in the region who can play this role?
No. No, the thing is that everyone is running away. Like that. That's the reality. And the big question. I was going to say like. Say it secretly, but then I realized we're broadcasted. So, without naming anyone, I think one of the key issues can also be the the symbolic message. It's not only about the money when someone withdraws from a particular topic or from a region. It's not only a message to the NGOs that you will not get money, but it's also always, it brings the hidden message of, okay, my work is probably not valued, my work is probably not seen as something important, as something that should be prioritized. So yeah, this I think is the most difficult part with some of the big donors deciding to go somewhere else.
But to stay positive in this conversation, I think we are here as ecosystem, and we can also discuss how we can bring more donors and maybe more money here, because this is also the power of people when they come together to find a solution.
Yeah, I want to be positive, so let me answer this. Something that was mentioned previously, many donors now look more into the collapsing democracy, divided society, and similar topics. And actually, the three of us had this conversation at some point in the past, that our role might be, look, that divide in the society, that collapsing democracy, doesn't start only when people are adults. It starts when they are children. So maybe, exactly, if you want to address the issues of divided society, you should start building a better society already at the age 0. So, yeah.
Thank you for a positive thoughts. Thank you, Maxim. Maxim, one more.
Yeah, it's completely out of topic. I just want to thank my team for this incredible work. Thank you very much. Diana, Teresa, Christina, thank you.
It was later on agenda, but yeah, we will do it again because I think you did an amazing job, the whole team. So thank you, Markus, Stano, and Maxim for the conversation.